before I introduce the administrator, Mayor, I'm gonna have everybody introduce themselves. Everybody knows, of course, the mayor of San Antonio. I appreciate we're up there in San Antonio, DC last week. So again, thank you so much. Talking about transportation. Mayor, City Councilwoman, thank you so much. We see some of the state reps, they're present here, the county commissioners also present, of course, the heads of the Chamber of Commerce, all of y'all, thank you so much. I know some of y'all, we're gonna be meeting at a restaurant afterwards so we can spend some time with the administrator, but all I wanna do is just say a couple of things and let the administrator say a few words, and afterwards I wanna sit down with y'all so y'all can spend time. We have been, first of all, I want to thank the administrator. She's got a great experience. She was in California running the business. I think California has the 5th biggest economy in the world. So she has that experience. And of course, she was also under the Obama administration. She also worked at the SBA also. So she comes with a wealth of experience, and we certainly welcome her down here to South Texas, to San Antonio. She'll say a few words, but let me just say a couple of things. We were just at Luna Rosa a few minutes ago. We were here at this beautiful establishment. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here. Because, and I'll give you my perspective, and then the administrator will give you your perspective. You know, when March of 2020 came up, it happened like this. So Congress had to react, and as you know, we supported the CARES Act 1, CARES Act 2, the American Recovery. We had to put money in. I know we had to adjust things because it happened so quick. This is a worldwide pandemic that hit us, but a lot of things have changed. I mean, just as an example, where else can you develop a vaccine in less than a year? Because usually vaccines will take 7, 8, 9, 10 years to develop. We were able to do that, and now with the young kids that will be able to vaccinate, then we're hoping things will happen. But we had to move fast. And one of the things that we saw was that literally things just shut down completely. So we put out different monies. We legislate, they of course administer, and they had a lot of work to do in a short period of time because again, businesses got hurt, individuals got hurt, cities got hurt, counties, states all got hurt. And so as we developed that legislation, we had to have agents like the SBA to make sure that they develop the right procedures and get the money. It's like getting the vaccines to the arms. We had to get the money to the individuals. We saw how restaurants got hit pretty hard. And I also see Mr. Ochoa here, a restaurant owner. Restaurants got hit very hard. Venues got hit very hard. So not only did we put money out for PPPs, the payroll protection, but we also had certain areas, the venues like cinemas that got hit very hard, the restaurants that got hit very hard. So we had to do this, but I want to say the administration did a wonderful job, did a great job, and we want to thank them, and I want to thank the administrator for being here with us because the SBA did that very quickly. Finally, let me just say this. There is more work to be done. As you know, we also have some work to do. We're hoping that next week we will vote on the transportation bill that will be historic, $1.2 trillion of money for transportation, for water, for bridges, for broadband. That will be very, very important. But also the Build Back Better is something that we need to get done. You know, the president came and talked to us. The president wants us to get this done. We want to support the president. We want to get this for the public. And some people call this Build Back Better as a social program. I don't call it that. I call it a jobs program. Let me explain why. If you give money for pre-K, that's not only good for the individual to develop, but it's also for the parents that can get back to work. If we do daycare assistance for people, that allows also the parents to get back back to work. And again, if you look at the different areas that we're working on, there is money also for the SBA, which I'm sure you're going to cover on that. That's important, but also there's a couple things. Healthcare, the affordable healthcare gets more assistance. But there was something that Representative Jim Clyburn from South Carolina and myself, we were working on, Joe Manchin to be exactly, we were trying to address one issue that affects 12 southern states, and I'll finish with this, including Texas, South Carolina, Florida, where the governors there did not want to expand the Medicaid. As you know, Texas left billions of dollars on the table because they didn't want to expand. So what we decided to do is say, how do we address those 2.2 million individuals that don't get any assistance? So what Clyburn, myself, and Joe Manchin and other folks, what we decided to do, the White House, is we're going to use the affordable health care. And we are going to pay 100% of the subsidies for those people that would have gotten the Medicaid expansion. And as I told Jim Clyburn, Jim, I love you on this, but I'm doing this for another reason. Out of the 2.2 million individuals in the southern states, 771,000 people are in the state of Texas. So the biggest winner on this one will be the state of Texas, and I'm sure in this area, mayor and county commissioner and state reps, they're also city councilwomen, they're here in the San Antonio area. And that's why I call it a jobs program, the Build Back Better. So hopefully next week we'll have that. En español, unas palabras. Estamos aquí con el administrador del SBA, muy importante porque van a hacer trabajos. Queremos seguir ayudando a las compañías chicas que necesitan esos trabajos. Estuvimos con un restaurante ahorita, estuvimos ahorita aquí en el cinema. Es muy importante y vamos a seguir. Y lo quiero dar las gracias a la administradora Guzmán, que tiene mucha experiencia, sabe la importancia de los negocios pequeños, porque los negocios pequeños son los que traen los trabajos que necesitamos, y si lo podemos dar a good welcome to South Texas, to San Antonio, our SBA administrator, Ms. Guzman. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much.
This is actually not my first time in South Texas. My family's originally from Texas. My parents moved to California after my father's graduate work from Corpus Christi, but also San Antonio. A bit here with Luna Rosa Restaurant so far, and with city-based cinema. I've been traveling around the country talking to small businesses who have benefited from the SBA and its scale. We've grown from about a $40 billion output, a small little agency, to putting out over $1.1 trillion in the relief, which the Congressman referenced. And that couldn't have been possible without the strong support as well of all our local partners. So the mayor, the local representatives, senators, etc., getting the word out to our small businesses. That lift is what has brought awareness and also the significant importance that small businesses have had on our economy and continue to have. I mean, small businesses create 2/3 of net new jobs. They employ half of the private workforce. They produce 40% of our output. They are the innovators. It was small businesses that worked on the vaccine. We know that we need them in order for us to succeed. The American Rescue Plan that President Biden put forward with Congress really focused on trying to fight the pandemic head on, vaccinate our people so that we could get back to our normal activities and visit city-based cinema and feel comfortable. And so that's really been the focus, is bringing our economy back to the best growth that we've seen in over 40 years, just so that we can make sure that our small businesses, such a key part of that, can survive. The SBA in particular has put out over $50 billion in Texas alone through our Paycheck Protection Program, through our COVID economic injury disaster loan, which still has over $100 billion available to small businesses still impacted by the pandemic. We recently, with President Biden, increased that to $2 million available at affordable 3.75% rates to our small businesses over 30-year terms with 2 years of deferred payments, so that small businesses can continue to survive during this time as we still battle the Delta variant and still try to get a sense of normalcy back to our main streets, our business centers, and our industrial centers. So those are really critical accomplishments that we're so thankful that Congress has supported. I know that one of the big things that we want to do is look to the future as well. And as we build back better, that means building back stronger ecosystems for our small businesses. And when I travel and talk to businesses, the challenges they face are about workforce. It's about supply chain. It's about access to capital. It is about health care for their workers and for themselves. All of these critical issues are being addressed right now with the Build Back Better framework, bipartisan infrastructure deal, as we know that that is going to create jobs and strengthen our economy and focus on rebuilding our nation and our people. And we know that in order for our workforce to come back to all these small businesses, we need to strengthen our care economy and make sure that there are smart, affordable solutions for people to go back to work. For the supply chain, we need to invest in our infrastructure and make sure that our goods can be distributed without bottlenecks, which we're working so hard to address. And then when it comes to the investments that Build Back Better will make in climate, I know Texans, as Californians, are familiar with the challenges of natural disasters. The SBA has 9 disaster declarations in the state of Texas alone focused on natural disasters and trying to support homeowners, individuals, and businesses with support to recover from natural disasters. So we know we need to fight climate change because small businesses are the ones who are impacted the most with natural disasters. The statistics are really devastating, and so we want to make sure that we make these investments. And small businesses are going to be the ones that innovate in climate change. We're going to create jobs, create businesses, and help us lead, most importantly, our nation to be globally competitive. That's going to be with the strength of small business. So this is an economic imperative. We're so thankful that Congress is contemplating this Build Back Better framework and that we can move forward to really invest in our people, invest in our economy so that we can continue to see the growth thanks to the great leadership of President Biden over these past several months. So with that, again, thank you to all the local electeds and the mayor and others who came out today, the Chambers of Commerce, our local small business development centers, our local women's business center, our local SCORE chapters. They're on the ground as well with us, along with our civil servants and our district team with Mary Hernandez, who's here today. We know that the SBA has many programs with capital, access to markets, technical assistance that can wrap around your business and help you be successful. So please count on us. Visit SBA.gov, come to our centers that we support, and make sure that you're part of accessing that relief that will continue to be available to you. So thank you so much for having me. Mi español no es muy bueno.
No, nada más, por ejemplo, cuánto ha invertido el SBA para ayudar y aliviar a los pequeños negociantes de San Antonio.
Sí. Por todos los hispanos que están en negocios, yo sé que el SBA está tratando de hacer cosas para build bridges, para conectar con la gente. Y es muy importante que todo está en español y también en inglés y estamos tratando de hacer trabajos para todos, incluyendo nuestros pequeños negocios.
How much money would you say that in Spanish for the SBA in Texas?
En Texas hay 50 billones de dólares que SBA distribuye en Texas durante esta COVID pandemic.
Muchas gracias.
Ms. Guzman, I would like to ask you about the Build Back Better and the effect on small businesses. I know they're still negotiating what's in Build Back Better, but you talked about broad topics like energy reform and disaster recovery. Can you give us some specifics about what's in Build Back Better right now as we're talking that would help everyday businesses out there?
Yes. All those things are really critical for small businesses, the workforce, supply chain, as I mentioned, the infrastructure, broadband, but specifically for SBA and the investments that will be made. Access to capital is often one of the largest barriers for small businesses for them to survive during this time. We know that we supported so many businesses with that $50 billion in Texas to help them survive, but we want to look to the future. The Build Back Better framework includes key investments in SBA to expand access to capital, our lending programs through direct lending authorities that will help us give businesses the capital that they need. We know that only 43% of the businesses get their funding from a bank. During PPP early rounds, we saw that some businesses were not able to access capital through the normal distribution those capital gaps, which creates the market inefficiencies in our economy, and will make significant investments, historic investments in SBA in terms of access to capital. Additionally, of course, we know technical assistance is really important for our small businesses, and we'll make key investments in our technical assistance for accelerating our innovators, as well as incubating all of our small businesses.
Is that broad loans to businesses out there, or are these targeted loans that's in Build Back Better?
These are broad loans, direct loans, $150,000 and under, as well as support across SBA's portfolio. We offer loans that small businesses can use for working capital, for asset purchases, for building purchases or equipment purchases. And so we'll continue to expand that access through the Build Back Better framework with key investments.
It has monies. I have a list if anybody wants to see for the SBA provisions in BB in the Build Back. Monies for vet education, since we got a lot of veterans here. For the veterans education, monies for surety bonds, which are important for the small businesses. Innovators or accelerators, the uplift accelerators money, community advantage money, and there's different even monies for prisons to proprietorship also to make folks. So there is a list of things if anybody's interested, and there's so many things. This bill is going to be for job creation on that. And one more thing. So money on workforce training that you mentioned, and higher ed also. Higher ed is going to matter. I know we got somebody from UTSA here that does good work also, so we appreciate the work that y'all do with the SBA.
One of the key things is, it's within all of those programs. In some, if you're going to describe them, it is about access to capital, but it's also about that training, the technical assistance, and accessing procurement. President Biden made it very clear he wants to make sure small businesses are leveraging the opportunities for these historic investments in the bipartisan infrastructure deal, as well as Build Back Better. Small businesses need to be in those supply chains. We need to make in America and make sure that that is what drives our global competitiveness. And so, in terms of our small businesses and innovative startups, there will be lots of opportunities that SBA will be positioned with this framework to help them access procurement, access private supply